remember your first day of school at all?
Well, I remember my first entrance, my first day into the school, into the whole building itself. I don't specifically remember the first day of school, but I remember this massive building and red brick building, and my mother was taking me in. My mother and dad were taking me in, and took me to a playroom down more on the main floor, and yeah, and just kind of said goodbye to me and kissed me, and my mom was crying and I didn't know why. I didn't see her after for quite a while.
You didn't know that you were going to be left there?
No. That was the hardest part because I didn't know why I was there, why my mom and dad would leave me in such a place. I didn't know anybody. And the nuns weren't very helpful. They would just tell me to shut up and be quiet. I couldn't do anything about it and just sat there and cried. And we'd all march down the hallways. We weren't allowed to look at the boys, even as little girls. We had the nuns beside us, marching us down the hallways, remember? And if we looked at the boys in crossing, they would hit us on the head with their knuckles, and tell us we were pagans. Tell me I was a pagan. I'd go to hell because I looked at this boy, and different things like that.
Had your parents gone to residential school?
Yes, they did. My father went to LeBret and my mom went to Brandon.
Did they ever talk about that with you?
My mom talked about it a little bit. My dad never really mentioned it. He would just say that he went. He didn't tell me much about his experiences there. But from the way he treated us at different times, he was abusive at times. When he would get angry, he'd kind of lose control and he would hit us on the head like with his knuckles. And that was the same way the nuns did to us, to me when I was there. I remember them doing that. And then as I got older, I kind of correlated the two and realized that my dad had picked this training up from the school, and realized that wasn't part of himself. But yeah, he was abusive from the residential school. My mother was more caring, more kind. She was more loving. I don't know where she picked that up from, but she did. She was like that with us, I remember. Me being the oldest one, I remember a lot about my mother because she would hug me and, tell me she loved me. But it was a rare occasion my dad would ever do that.
But still you love him?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love my parents. My parents are both deceased, but there's no doubt that I still respect and honor them. They went through a lot in regards to residential school and what it had done to them emotionally and mentally. And so yeah, being in that school, when I was younger, I was always told what to do. I didn't have a mind of my own. I was belittled. I was called a savage. I was never amount to anything. I was just a dirty old Indian. I was just a dirty Indian, and I wasn't going anywhere in life. And when you're told that long enough, you come to believe that you're nobody, and I felt like a nobody. And being in the school, I had a cousin who was really fair and she had freckles. And she could fit more into the white society than us. But we always had this kind of game or contest we would play with one another. And that was like, we all wanted to be white. We wanted to be like my cousin. So sometimes we would wash ourselves till we think we were white. And we'd go up to her and try and compare our skins. And it was, at the time we just thought, it was just something that we did. But now that I'm older, I realized that I was I was losing my identity. And that was a lonely place. Lots of kids, but lonely. I remember sitting in the dormitory, and I knew the direction of home. I knew which direction I came to the school. And I'd always wished that every car that came down that hill would be my mom and dad. To take me away from this place.